The Deputy Speaker stated that honorable members who wished to make submissions to the committee were free to do so on Friday, 12 December 2025, in line with the committee's program of work. In that regard, Madam First Deputy Speaker urged honorable members to get in touch with the Director, Legal Services, for more information.
And after that announcement, there was another announcement that Madam First Deputy Speaker did make. She did recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from St. Dominic Savio Secondary School in Kawe District. And so, Madam First Deputy Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, warmly welcome the visitors to the National Assembly.
After those two announcements, the acting leader of government business in the House presented the business statement for the period 9th to 16th December 2025.
Last week on Friday, there were 3 urgent matters without notice that were, brought to the floor of the House, and this is following Standing Order 142, and the first urgent matter did come from Mr. Mpundu on the contempt proceedings instituted against the House for tabling the Constitution of Zambia Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 7 of 2025, whose contents were said to have been arrived at using a flawed process. And this particular urgent matter without notice was inadmissible.
The second matter came from Lundazi, Member of Parliament, Ms. Brenda Nyirenda. This was on the non-payment to farmers who supplied maize to the Food Reserve Agency, FRA, in Lundazi Parliamentary Constituency. This matter was equally inadmissible.
The last urgent matter without notice, which was the third one, did come from Mr. C. Kangombe on the shortage of water in some parts of Kamfinsa Parliamentary Constituency, and this one was admissible. Madam First Deputy Speaker directed the Minister of Water Development and Sanitation to issue a ministerial statement on Wednesday, the 10th of December 2025. So those are the 3 urgent matters without notice that were considered last week on Friday.
There was also a ministerial statement that was presented by the Minister of Green Economy and Environment. This was on the tailings dam failure at Mukawamo Copper Mines Limited, and briefed the House on the Zambia Environmental Management investigations findings thus far, as well as measures being taken to protect the affected community.
After consideration of that particular ministerial statement, the House considered questions for oral answer numbers 115 and 116 under Standing Order number 80, and thereafter the House did resolve into Committee of Supply to consider estimates of revenue and expenditure, including capital and constitutional. And we take a look at the heads that were considered, Matimba.
The Committee of Supply did consider head 52, Ministry of Water Development and Sanitation, and 2,688,541,974 kwacha was agreed to. Head 53, Ministry of Green Economy and Environment, and 1,157,664,845 kwacha was agreed to. And notice was taken at 11:02 hours that quorum not formed. Mr. Second Deputy Speaker ordered the bells to be rung. House counted, and quorum having been formed, business resumed. And the Committee of Supply also considered head 62, Ministry of Energy, and 2,555,592,675 kwacha was agreed to.
And the other head that was considered was head 68. That's the Ministry of Tourism, and the head total was 1,535,615,25, which was agreed to. There was also the Ministry of Defense, which had a head total of 11,603,978,086. This one was equally agreed to.
The Committee of Supply also considered head 78, Zambia Security Intelligence Service, Office of the President, and 2,234,222,312 was agreed to. Head 85, Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, and 283,092,624 was agreed to. Head 87, Anti-Corruption Commission, 199,960,768 kwacha was agreed to. And the last head that the Committee of Supply considered is head 45, Ministry of Community Development and Social Services, and 9,698,684,655 was agreed to.
And there being no further business, progress was reported and leave asked to sit again. So the committee is expected to sit again Tuesday, which is today, the 9th of December 2025, and the House adjourned last week on Friday at 12:04. That's the business that was considered on the floor of the House last week on Friday. Time now to look at today's business.
Today, Tuesday, 9th December 2025, we expect announcements if there will be any urgent matters without notice. If there will be any, there's also a ministerial statement that is expected to be presented by the Minister of Green Economy and Environment. This is on the 30th session of the Conference of Parties, COP30, held in Belém, Brazil from 10th to 21st November 2025.
The House is expected to consider 3 questions for oral answer under Standing Order number 80. And just before we go through those questions, we will have a look at the heads that will be considered on the floor of the House today. Remember, the House at some point is going to resolve into committee to consider estimates of revenue and expenditure, including capital and constitutional and statutory expenditure. And the following heads will be considered this afternoon and part of the evening. That's head 03, which is the National Assembly, and this particular head will be held in camera. Head 46, Ministry of Health. Head 80, Ministry of Education. Head 89, Ministry of Agriculture. Head 88, thereafter we'll move to provincial heads. That's head 88, Office of the President. That's Muchinga Province. The other one is head 90, Office of the President, Lusaka Province.
The Committee of Supply is also expected to consider Head 91, Office of the President, Copper Belt, Head 92, Office of the President, Central Province, Head 93, Office of the President, Northern Province, Head 94, Office of the President, Western Province, Head 95, Office of the President, Eastern Province, and Head 96, Office of the President, Rwakula Province.
Head 97 is the Office of the President, that's Northwestern Province. Head 98, Office of the President, Southern Province. And lastly, for today, the House will consider Head 99, that's the Constitutional and Statutory Expenditure. So those are the heads that will be considered on the floor of the House. So like we mentioned earlier on, as we wait for the Speaker's procession to make way into the chamber, we'll have a look at the questions for oral answer under Standing Order number 8. There are 3 of them. So Matimba, let's just have a look at the questions that will be posed by some members of Parliament.
Question 118 will come from Chilanga Member of Parliament, Mr. Sipo Lazo, and he will direct his question to the Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development. He wants to find out whether the government has any plans to construct a dual carriageway on Mumbi Road from 7070 Road intersection to Mundengwa area in Chilanga District in order to decongest traffic. If so, when the plans will be implemented, and if there are no such plans, why?
Question 118 will come from Mr. Kandafula of Serenje constituency. He's going to ask the Minister of Water Development and Sanitation when the government will resume the construction of Mbaswa Dam in Serenje parliamentary constituency, at what percentage of completion the project was as of August 2025, what the cause of the delay in completing the project is, what the cost of the outstanding works is, and when the projects will be completed.
Question 120 will come from Mpika Member of Parliament, Mr. Francis Kapyanga, and he will be directing his question to the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development. He wants to find out whether the government has any plans to upgrade to Bitumina standard the following township roads in Mpika District: Mosakanya Kombe Drive, Kalolo Market Road, Old Zanako Boma Road, Lake O Musakanya Road, Market Mpika Boys Road, Eko Tazara Road, Kamwanya Roads, and Chitulika Roads. And if so, when the plans will be implemented, and if there are no such plans, why?
So those are the 3 questions for oral answer that will be considered under Standing Order number 80. And of course, at some point, the House will resolve into committee to consider estimates of revenue and expenditure, including capital and constitutional and statutory expenditure. Of course, we do expect the Minister of Green Economy and Environment to deliver a ministerial statement on the 30th session of the Conference of Parties held in Belém, Brazil, from the 10th to the 21st of November 2025. And just about now, we'll leave you with live pictures or visuals from the chamber as we wait for the Speaker's procession to make its way into the chamber. Remember, as always, we will be back to look at business that will have been considered on the floor of the House. Just now, do stay tuned and pleasant viewing.
And the sing of Zambia, proud and free, land of wealth and joy in unity, victors in the struggle for our rights. We want freedom's fight, oh, one, strong and free. Africa is our own motherland, fashioned with and blessed by those who blend. Let us all our people join as one, brothers under the sun, oh, one, strong and free. One land and one nation is our cry. Dignity and peace in Zambia's sky, like a noble eagle in its flight. Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one, strong and free. Praise be to God, praise be, bless our great Zambia, Zambia, Zambia. Remain we stand under the flag of our land. Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one, strong and free.
Prayer. Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to consider with your abundant favor us, your servants, who we have been pleased to call to the performance of such important responsibilities in this land. Let your blessing descend upon us here in Parliament assembled, and grant that we may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation, in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Order, honorable members. I have two announcements. The first one, honorable members, is that I have received communication to the effect that, in the absence of Her Honor the Vice President, who is attending to other government business, the Minister of Defense, Honorable Ambrose L. Lufuma, MP, has been appointed acting leader of government business in the House from today, Tuesday, 9th December, until further notice. I thank you. The second announcement, honorable members, I wish to recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from St. Vincent Balotti Catholic School in Lusaka District. Balotti. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I warmly welcome our visitors in our midst. I thank you. You may take your seats. Urgent matters without notice. The Honorable Member from Kano.
Madam Speaker, I rise on an urgent matter without notice, which matter I wish to direct to the acting leader of government business. Madam Speaker, the rainy season is such a time when even animals will go looking out for shelter. The UPND government, Madam Speaker, has found it convenient to go and demolish people's houses during the rain season in Kasompe in Chingola. Interestingly, Madam Speaker, this exercise was conducted using army officers. We all do know that the army are not trained to handle civilians. In the process of this exercise, families who were disturbed by this action were beaten and are struggling for their lives in hospitals as we speak. Is the leader of government business, Madam Speaker, in order to sit and not come to this August House and inform the nation why the government has found it convenient when all along they've watched these people build houses only to come and demolish their houses in the rain season, and worse more, use the army to go and conduct that exercise and end up beating people mercilessly? I seek your indulgence, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member Fonkana. I will suggest you put in an urgent question or a question so that it can be handled by the acting leader of government business. The clerks at the table will decide whether it qualifies to be urgent or just as an ordinary question. After the question regarding the visas was raised, I now have to be very cautious in making or admitting some of these statements because I don't have any evidence or proof what exactly happened. So the matter is not admitted. The Honorable Member is advised to find other means and ways to bring that issue to the floor of the House. The Honorable Member for Mukushi, sir.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, my matter is directed to the Minister of Finance, but I can't see him. Minister of Commerce is also not there.
Honorable Member, just raise order. Honorable Member, just indicate to which minister you want to raise the matter, and then it will be tackled accordingly.
Madam Speaker, Minister of Commerce. Madam Speaker, government survival in terms of economy is dependent on the revenue generated by the Zambia Revenue Authority through tax collection. And one of the methods that ZRA used to collect tax is by duty payments through the imports. Madam Speaker, ZRA has introduced a new system in the duty tax collection method. And this system is causing a serious congestion in all the borders, thereby reducing the tax collection and causing extra charges to the clients. Madam Speaker, is the Minister of Commerce in order not to come to this House and tell us about the new system that they have introduced? Instead of having two parallel systems, the old one and the new one, so that you facilitate the movement of goods and services. I seek your serious indulgence, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Member for Mukushi South, please put in a question. because you are not even clear what system these are. You have not named them, so it's difficult for me to conclude what systems they are. You have not named them. Probably you'll be more clear if you put in a question. So the matter is not admitted. We make progress. I have permitted the Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment to present a ministerial statement. The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Madam Speaker, I wish to thank you for according me this opportunity to update this House and the nation at large on the proceedings and the outcomes of the 13th session of the Conference of Parties on Climate Change. Madam Speaker, allow me to begin by giving a brief background on the Conference of Parties meetings. The Conference of Parties, COP, is the supreme decision-making body of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, and it is made up of countries who are state parties to the convention. The House may wish to know that Zambia is a party to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, and its subsidiary instruments, including the Kyoto Protocol and the Paris Agreement. The main objective of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change is to stabilize greenhouse gas concentrations to prevent dangerous human interface with the climate system. This goal is pursued by enabling ecosystems to adapt naturally to climate change, ensuring that food production is not threatened and allowing for sustainable economic development. It is important to note, Madam Speaker, that that the COP meets annually to review implementation of the provisions of the Convention by all countries and to give policy guidance for the coming year. Madam Speaker, the COP30 meeting took place in Belém, Brazil, in the Amazonia region from 10th to 21st November 2025. The conference, Madam Speaker, was preceded by a World Leaders Summit convened by the President of Brazil, His Excellency Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, from 6th to 7th November 2025. Madam Speaker, this summit was attended by 56 presidents and heads of state and government. I was privileged to lead the Zambian delegation and also represented His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema at both the Leaders Summit and the conference. The COP30 meeting was multifaceted. The session also built on the outcomes of earlier COPs while it's trying to catalyze a new phase of action, implementation, and global mobilization. Specifically, COP30 was aimed at strengthening global climate ambition by guiding countries as they prepare enhanced 2035 nationally determined contributions, NDCs. Madam Speaker, the conference was also intended to translate the first global stocktake into concrete actions to bridge the identified gaps on mitigation, finance, and resilience building. The host country, Brazil, characterized COP30 as an implementation COP and wanted to launch a decisive decade of implementation, shifting from commitments to measurable, accelerated delivery of climate action. Madam Speaker, COP30 culminated into the Belém package, which prioritizes the most vulnerable populations in climate policy. Further, a new fund for protecting tropical forests, rainforests, called the Tropical Forest Forever Facility was set up. Madam Speaker, the fund received the pledges of over $5 billion United States dollars at the conference. Madam Speaker, let me now share some of the specific outcomes from COP30 as contained in the Belém package. Number one, a political signal to triple adaptation finance by the year 2035. Madam Speaker, adaptation finance is the funding that helps countries to cope with climate impacts already unfolding, such as building flood-resilient roads, improving water storage during droughts. Adaptation finance also includes expanding of early warning systems. At the COP30, countries decided that adaptation finance should increase threefold to around 120 billion United States dollars per year by the year 2035. While this is not yet a binding commitment, it is a major political signal. Madam Speaker, the current funding levels for adaptation, estimated to be around 40 billion United States dollars per year, falls far short of what vulnerable countries need, and impacts are accelerating quickly. A clear expectation to scale up resources over the next decade gives international institutions and national governments direction, even as the details of contributions still need to be negotiated. Number two, on mitigation, the House may wish to know that the current countries' nationally determined contributions, commitments, NDCs, while providing progress, if implemented, are falling short to reach the mitigation necessary to avoid exceeding 1.5 degrees Celsius in warming. In an effort to bridge the gap between current climate targets and the 1.5 degrees goal, the COP established two initiatives designed to support nations in strengthening and achieving their commitments. The Belém mission to 1.5 degrees aims to encourage high ambition in national climate plans by fostering dialogue on the necessary international cooperation and investment. This is complemented by the Global Implementation Accelerator, a voluntary and cooperative platform intended to assist countries in moving from planning to action, facilitating the practical delivery of mitigation and adaptation measures needed to meet these goals. Number three, a just transition mechanism was established to support countries as they transition towards low carbon development. In line with the Sustainable Development Goals, just transition refers to the idea that climate action should not leave anyone behind. In particular, just transition pays special attention to countries, communities, and workers whose livelihoods depends on fossil fuels or carbon-intensive sectors. It also means giving developing countries the support, including funding, they need to grow their economies in cleaner, more resilient ways. The new Belém Action Mechanism will serve as a platform to coordinate assistance, share best practices, mobilize resources, and track progress. Its establishment means that fairness in the global shift towards sustainable economies is no longer only a political slogan, but now has a formal home within the UN climate system. Number four, Madam Speaker, countries agreed on indicators for the global goal on adaptation. For years, parties have been trying to define how to measure global progress on adaptation, which is a very difficult task considering climate resilience looks different from one country to another and even from place to place within each country. COP30 finally produced an agreed set of indicators for the global goal on adaptation. These will help evaluate improvements in areas such as water security, food systems, infrastructure resilience, strengthening of early warning systems, as well as access to adaptation finance. It must be noted, Madam Speaker, that negotiations on this issue were very difficult, and many governments stressed that the indicators will need further refinement, leaving significant work for coming COPs. However, having a first version in place gives countries a common framework to assess whether adaptation efforts are on track. Number 5, the outcome of phasing out fossil fuels could not be reached, but the momentum may build elsewhere as many governments and civil society groups arrived in Berlin calling for a clear commitment to phase out fossil fuels. Madam Speaker, together these outcomes show both movement and limitations. COP30 delivered new tools, clearer expectations, and new cooperative spaces, but also highlighted where global ambition still lags behind what climate science demands. Madam Speaker, the year ahead will determine whether countries can turn these outcomes into meaningful action before COP31. Madam Speaker, let me now highlight some of the strides Zambia made at the COP30. Madam Speaker, I had bilateral engagements with other various countries. Notable among these were countries that we are cooperating with on various issues, including climate change. In addition, engagements were also conducted with new potential bilateral partners. The key highlight of these engagements was the signing of a bilateral agreement of cooperation with Switzerland on Article 6 of the Paris Agreement on 20th November 2025. Madam Speaker, under this agreement, Switzerland will be one of the off-takers of carbon credits generated from projects implemented in our country, Zambia. I need to indicate here, Madam Speaker, that Switzerland joins countries such as Norway and Sweden, which have already signed such agreements with Zambia. In addition, a similar bilateral agreement negotiation with Singapore has reached an advanced stage. These agreements, Madam Speaker, demonstrate Zambia's position in the carbon market and will translate into tangible benefits, including creation of jobs and income opportunities to the country, and most importantly, to our communities. Engagements were also undertaken with multilateral and international organizations. These included the Climate Investment Funds, CIF, of the World Bank, the African Development Bank, the Executive Director of the Fund for Responding to Loss and Damage, and the Nationally Determined Contribution NDC Partnership, to mention but a few. Madam Speaker, let me inform this August House that Zambia is scheduled to host a meeting of the board of the Fund for Responding to Loss and Damage in April 2026. And so my meeting with the Executive Director was intended to compare our notes on the preparations for the hosting of this event. I can confirm, Madam Speaker, that we are more than ready to host this event as the first African country to do so since the establishment of the fund. The House may also wish to recall that in August this year, Zambia hosted the Global Expo on National Adaptation Plans, NAPS, indicating the country's growing influence in the multilateral climate change process, as these events are competitive among member states. Madam Speaker, I would be failing in my statement if I did not take time to thank His Excellency the President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, President of the Republic of Zambia, for always encouraging us to look out for such opportunities of hosting international conferences, which obviously have far-reaching benefits to the economy. Madam Speaker, may I conclude by indicating that Zambia remains a respected and influential party to the climate change process. Our contributions, both in the negotiation process and the hosting of important and competitive events, is a testimony, clear testimony to that. The country will remain, Madam Speaker, committed to the global climate response while strengthening its climate response at home. Madam Speaker, once again, I thank you for this opportunity to render this ministerial statement.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Honorable members are now free to ask questions on points of clarification on the ministerial statement presented by the Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment. The Honorable Member for Kwacha.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity given to ask a follow-up question. And also, Honorable Minister, we thank you for having attended that very important global meeting where leaders from various countries come together to share ideas on how to protect our environment. Now, I would like to find out, Honorable Minister, if there is clear benefits that African countries especially are getting from such engagements, considering that we've had a lot of similar engagements in the past, and yet we see the environment in most countries in Africa deteriorating at the expense of the European activities. Honorable Minister, I would cite an example of charcoal burning, which is on the increase, despite the fact that each time such engagements are held, such conferences, there are pledges, a lot of $1 million that are pledged to curb and reduce the charcoal burning so that our environment can actually be sustained. So I would like to find out from you if such engagements are yielding any positive results. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I also want to thank the Member of Parliament for Kwacha constituency, Honorable Mlenga, for that question. Madam Speaker, the benefits of attending such conferences are many. I take note of his concern that the levels of deforestation are increasing, but like I indicated in my ministerial statement, one of the key outcomes to the COP30 was the facility which Brazil just established, which is meant to protect tropical forests, and Zambia has taken interest. I did mention that just there we had pledges of more than $5 billion United States dollars, and Zambia registered its interest in that facility. But again, such a gathering, Madam Speaker, is an opportunity, like I did indicate, of meeting various cooperating partners. Some of the outcomes of the COP29, which preceded COP30, some of the agreements that we signed in Baku are already yielding results. As we speak, we are about to sign now one of the financing agreements with one of the countries with which we signed the agreement at COP29. So clearly from there, you see that the benefits are many. And I want also to say that our engagements with the various financing agents have in the past yielded a lot of results and continue to yield results in terms of Zambia receiving grants towards the fight against deforestation, towards our green growth agenda. So the benefits are many. They might not be seen immediate, but as we go on, we'll continue seeing the benefits of our attending such meetings. But also, Madam Speaker, it is important, like I did mention, that Zambia is a party to the UN systems, that at a table where key decisions are being made on adaptation, on mitigation, on adaptation finance, on the key reviews for NDCs, nationally determined contributions, it is important that each member state must sit at that table and put their voice. And I can mention here, Madam Speaker, that Zambia was one of the 8 African countries that met also with Antonio Guterres, the UN Secretary General, and had an input on the African stance on many decisions which formed part of the key outcomes of the COP30. So indeed, such gatherings are yielding results and will continue yielding results. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Chama North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Thank you, Minister, for that ministerial statement. Madam Speaker, the developed countries are the major culprits in terms of global warming. And during the Paris Club, these developed countries made a commitment of about $100 billion towards the developing countries for mitigation and adaptation. So I want to find out how far have they been able to meet the commitment of $100 billion towards developing countries. I thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I also want to thank Honorable Mutara Chalo for that question. Yes, Madam Speaker, there was an undertaking that developed countries must contribute to assisting with this problem, to financing the resilience building, the adaptation and mitigation, and to a tune of $3 billion per year, and also to agree with the question that the least developed countries, or indeed the African countries, have contributed less to this problem. Our contribution to greenhouse gas emission is merely less than 4%. Indeed, the developed countries have been the main ones who have contributed more. In terms of how far we've gone on the pledge of the $3 billion, I want to say that this is still an ongoing undertaking. There hasn't been key disbursements so far, but it's an ongoing undertaking, Madam Speaker. I thank you.
So the Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment. Oh, it's finished. Oh, sorry. The other. I'm lost. The Honorable Member for Bangweulu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, for me is just a concern. I did attend the UN conference COP30 in Brazil, and it is such platforms that international agreements are born. I did notice during the interaction with other MPs that several countries do include honorable members of parliament in their delegations. And the reason is simple, Madam Speaker, because when international agreements are born from such engagements, those agreements are ratified by Parliament. And it is important that members of Parliament once in a while are part of this delegation so that when they come for ratification, there have been a number of MPs that attended such engagements. It's very, very important, Madam Speaker. So I want to find out from the Minister why Zambia is the only country that continuously leave out members of Parliament in their delegations, because I do know that we have a committee on international agreements. We also do have a committee on lands and natural resources. We also have a caucus on climate change. So just want to find out from Minister why they continuously leave out members of Parliament. And at the end of the day, we are the ones who come to ratify these international agreements. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I also want to thank Honorable Cassandre, Member of Parliament for Bangweru, for that follow-up question or concern. Madam Speaker, I take note of his concern and also accept the fact that it would be very good to carry along members of Parliament to such conferences, and we'll consider this and ensure that we make improvements going forward. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chama South.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, the United States government has been the major sponsor of a lot of mitigation programs. I know in Chama South, Frankfurt Zoological Society, that is involved in conservation, both of environment and wildlife, has been tapping into, in the past, USAID funding. Now that the United States of America has said they will not be funding any NGOs or agencies, what did COP24, where you went, talk about the alternative funding to climate change to replace, I know will be waste heat, especially us in the third world countries, this vacuum that the American government is likely to create? Was there any such debate so that we are assured as a country we are going to benefit from your engagement? I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank Honorable Mngandu for that question. Madam Speaker, from COP29 in Baku, after the United States announced such cut measures, discussions have been there generally to see how we can enhance financing of adaptation, mitigation, and various interventions with the taking into account the announcement by the United States government to cut funding to such activities. So generally there have been discussions from COP29 to COP30, and we are hoping that the measures that other developed countries have stepped in terms of the pledges, but also the funding agencies, will kick in to finance the gap. Like I said, Zambia in April 2026 will be hosting the board meeting of the fund responsible for responding to loss and damage, and I'm happy to mention that for the first time since the establishment of this fund, they will be now looking at financing projects that will assist in the fight against climate change. So they are meeting here in Zambia in April we'll be looking at projects which various countries, particularly African countries that are most hit, the projects that will respond, it will be on the basis of the projects that each country will have provided, will have submitted, that financing will be granted to the deserving countries. So this kind of funding is also coming in to bridge the vacuum that has been created, but also we are looking from the broader perspective to various financing agencies to ensure that they bridge in this gap. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Masaiti.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Brazilian President Lula...
Honorable Member for Masaiti, there's an indication for a point of order. Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security, what's the point of order?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise on a very serious constitutional point of order pursuant to Article 76 of the Constitution of Zambia and Standing Order 212. Madam Speaker, you may not be aware that all of your members here in this August House, including yourself, have been summoned in the Constitutional Court for contempt. Madam Speaker, by one Makebi Zulu and Company, in the case of one convict, Munia Zulu, and another versus the Attorney General. Madam Speaker, to show that the matter is real and members have been cited, I have in my hand a letter from Messrs. Makebi Zulu Advocates to Honorable Mishek Nyambose. It says, and I read for even reference, Munia Zulu and another versus the Attorney General 2025/CCZ/009. The letter reads, the above captioned matter refers, kindly find enclosed herein by way of service upon yourselves the following documents. 1. Amended summons to commence contempt and committee of proceedings with the returnable date of 9th December 2025 at 9 hours before Honorable Justice J.Z. Mulongoti. 2. Affidavit in support of summons to commence contempt and committee of proceedings. Please acknowledge safe receipt of this letter. Madam Speaker, as you may be aware, members of Parliament enjoy immunity and privileges pursuant to Article 76 of the Constitution of Zambia, which I need to read for the members of this House and the public to understand the privileges and the immunity of members of Parliament. Madam Speaker, Article 76(1) states, and I quote, a member of Parliament has freedom of speech in the National Assembly, and that freedom shall not, I repeat, shall not be ousted or questioned in a court or tribunal. Yeah. Madam Speaker, is it in order for individuals to impute on the immunity and privileges of your House including yourself, that you should be taken to court for matters that you debate on the floor of this House, contrary to the rules, are those who are imputing in order to scare those who can't be scared like me. So that we don't debate here matters which we have been closed with the authority by the Constitution of Zambia. Are those who are trying to question our privileges, our immunities, and those who are threatening Honorable Nyambose and others, are they in order, Madam Speaker? Are they also in order to start bringing the two arms of government in conflict? Because that is the intention, to scare and bring acrimony between the two wings of government. Are they in order, Madam Speaker?
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security. Maybe to give me time to look at the documentation, and then I can render my ruling. So I reserve my ruling to a later date. Thank you. Thank you very much. Honorable members, thou shalt not be scared. That's what we signed for. May the Honorable Member for Masaiti continue.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I was saying the Brazilian President, President Lula da Silva, in his keynote speech in Belém at COP30, emphasized that climate change affects everyone, but not equally, and not everyone has the same resources to deal with it. This is what he says. So there were several pledges, as you have indicated in your ministerial statement, Honorable Minister, that 5 billion was pledged, especially on the forest protection. How much did Zambia pledge for the same? Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank the MP for Masaiti. Zambia did not pledge anything, any money to that facility. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Mbavala.
Thank you so much.
Let's finish this item, Honorable Member for Nakonde, then we can come to your point of order. The Honorable Member for Mbavala may continue.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Minister, for the very important information you have brought from the COP. Honorable Minister, from the solutions which you discussed at the COP, is there some small-scale measures which you can demonstrate to us to give to communities such as my community in Mangunza that is completely losing their timber or forest due to charcoal burning, so that we can have a sustainable solution which we can directly measure from the COP to work in our constituencies, and then we can say this is the result of this good work which you have done. I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and the Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank Honorable Msanje, MP from Mbavala, for that question. Madam Speaker, I did indicate in my statement that Zambia supported the establishment of the initiative launched by Brazil to protect the forest, but we did not have immediate pledges that will come to Zambia in that direction. But suffice to say, Madam Speaker, that in-house we've been receiving support, like I said, to go towards protecting the trees, to go towards protecting the forests. But in terms of COP30, we did not have a particular project that is coming direct to projects like the one you have said. But as I indicated, we have this agreement that we've signed with Switzerland on carbon credit. Again, those will come to support Zambia once the project takes off in terms of financing, to look at carbon trade, but in there to support communities that are involved in protecting forests, that are involved in protecting trees. So in the long term, you'll be able to see these projects being financed and come to support the communities in Zambia. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Since there are no further questions, there was an indication from the Honorable Member for Nakonde for a point of order. Honorable Member for Nakonde, what's your point of order?
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. Madam Speaker, I rise on a very serious point of order. And Madam Speaker, mostly when any member, Madam Speaker, rises on a point of order and cites the standing order, you always check if that standing order is correct.
Order, Honorable Member for Nakonde, I think you are going in the wrong direction.
Madam Speaker,
you cannot evaluate what I'm doing from here. I know what I'm doing, so it's not up to you to pick out the mistakes that I've made or what I've not said. So please raise your point of order.
Madam Speaker, is the Minister of Home Affairs in order to cite a wrong standing order, the one 204, and Madam Speaker, standing order 204 states that the functions of general purposes of the committees. Why has the Minister of Home Affairs, cited the wrong standing order, and is a lawyer, Madam Speaker? Why has he done like that? Is it in the order, Madam Speaker, to mislead this House that standing order 204, Madam Speaker, talks about constitutional matters, when here the standing orders 2024 and 204 is stating the functions of general purposes of the committees. Madam Speaker, serious guidance on this matter. Thank you very much.
Honorable Member for Nakonde, you know very well that there can never be a point of order on another point of order. So please don't try to do my work. I'll do my work at the right time. As you have heard, I've reserved my ruling. So please allow me to also exercise my work, to do my work. Do not preempt. Do you have any other point of order? So let's proceed. Let's proceed. Honorable Minister of, questions for oral answer under Standing Order 80. The Honorable Member for Chilanga.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, question 117.
Honorable members, at the rate we are going, we will not be able to go through the order. Today is the last day for the Committee of Supply. So if we keep on raising points of order, we will not move. We will just delay. This will be the last point of order that I'm going to allow. The Honorable Member for Shuangandu, what's the point of order?
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I'm rising on point of order pursuant to Standing Order 57 and Standing Order 82. Madam Speaker, at this juncture, I should have been utilizing these two standing orders to pose a question which was already processed and appeared on the order paper, in which question I was just seeking to know the status of the draft bill and the report which was submitted to His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zambia in view of the Bill 7 which has now been resuscitated. This question was processed, Madam Speaker, and it was on the order paper up to the time I was going to attend the committee. I haven't seen the order paper which is now circulated, but I'm surprised that my question is not on the current order paper without notifying me in writing, as I did apply for that question in writing, Madam Speaker. I seek your serious guidance on this matter.
Order, honorable members. Honorable member for Shiwangandu, that's an administrative matter. You cannot raise it as a point of order. You are raising it on who? It's an administrative matter, and I'm sure you were engaged and you were informed of why the question was removed. So I don't want to discuss that matter on the floor of this House. If you want any discussion, you can come to my chambers. The Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Honorable Member for Chilanga, Honorable Lazo Sipo, is asking the Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development the following three questions. A, whether government has any plans to construct a dual carriageway on Mungwi Road from 7070 Road intersection to Mundengwa area of Chilanga district in order to decongest traffic. B, if so, when the plans will be implemented. And C, if there are no such plans, why? Our answer, Madam Speaker, is as follows. The answer to A is the government has plans to construct a dual carriageway on Mungwi Road from 7070 Road intersection to the Mundengwa area in Chilanga district in order to decongest traffic. Answer to B, the plans will be implemented once funds have been secured from the Treasury. And the answer to question C, as indicated at A above, the government has plans to decongest traffic by building a dual carriageway on Mungwi Road from the 7070 intersection to Mandengwa in Chilanga district. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Chilanga.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, I just wanted to find out when government will undertake a feasibility study to warrant the upgrading of this road.
The Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
I thank the Honorable Member for Chilanga for the follow-up question. Government is aware of the traffic congestion being caused by the increase in industrial activities in the area of Chilanga district. And accordingly, the Road Development Agency, working with Chilanga Town Council, will carry out an assessment of the said road to determine the best intervention, especially in the year 2026. Based on the results from the assessment, the said will be constructed to a dual carriageway road subject to availability of funds. The congestion, however, must make this very clear. The congestion in that area is during the peak hours of 06 hours to 08 hours, 12 hours to 14 hours and 16 hours to 18 hours. In the meantime, traffic control by the Zambia police can help reduce congestion through traffic control and management during these peak hours. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Ron.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much, and the Honorable Minister, thank you very much for that statement. Since we are talking about congestion, Honorable Minister, allow me to state here that our road from Ndola to Lusaka is gradually getting into shape.
Oh, the Honorable Member, let's stick to the question. We don't have much time. This is a constituency-based question.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for your guidance. Honorable Minister, since you are saying the road will be worked on once funds are available, do we have the stretch in terms of kilometers and approximately how much it will cost the government to do the dual carriageway?
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank the Honourable Member for Ron, especially for the first part where I think I was going to be praised for having cleared the congestion between 6 Mile and 10 Mile. But however, thank you for that. The feasibility study that we are undertaking with Chilanga Council is what will determine exactly which parts need to have the dual carriageway. And so that has to wait for this study, which I've indicated is going to take place. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Sorry, Honorable Member for Ron, you can congratulate the Minister outside. For now, we are doing some serious business. We need to move. The Honorable Member for Kwacha.
I'm grateful, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity given. Honorable Minister, once funds are made available to undertake this project, are you in a position, Honorable Minister, Madam Speaker, can I be protected from the Minister of Agriculture, who is trying to do something that I can't understand?
If you can't understand, why are you scared? Please proceed.
Honorable Minister, as you look for funds to undertake this particular program, do you have plans to put up a toll gate along that stretch, just like we have seen a toll gate at Shamawala and another toll gate as we are going to Kitwe close by here after 10 miles? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think this question relates to putting up a toll plaza on a particular section of road. There are conditions that determine where toll gates can be put in terms of the length of travel that motorists can go through for the payment that they have done. As of now, it has not been seen prudent or suitable to put a toll plaza on such a short stretch of road. This might change in future as we work out further measures to decongest main of our urban areas, especially Lusaka. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Bahati, that was a late indication I had closed. But Honorable Member for Chilanga, do you have any other question? You are done, you are satisfied, so we make progress. I'm looking at time, Honorable Members. Honorable Members, if you want to ask questions, please indicate in good time. Next question, the Honorable Member for Serenge.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question 118. Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Water Development and Sanitation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Honorable Kandafula asked the Minister of Water Development and Sanitation, A, when government will resume the construction of Mbaswa Dam in Serenje parliamentary constituency, B, at what percentage of completion of the project was as of August 2025, what the cause of the delay in completing the project is, what the cost of the outstanding works is, and E, when the project will be completed. In response to the questions asked by Honorable Kandafula, Member of Parliament for Soreji, I wish to inform this House that in A, government will resume the construction of Mbaswa Dam, hopefully during the second quarter of 2026. B, the percentage of completion of works still stands at 10% as of August 2025, following the termination of the contract. C, the delay in completing the work is due to the poor performance of the contractor, which led to the termination of the contract. D, the cost of constructing, the cost of the outstanding works at the time of termination of the contract was estimated at about 12 million kwacha. E, the project is estimated to be completed 1 year after contract signing. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Serenje.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for those good answers. I think I will subtract 1 out of the 5 for a simple reason, Honorable Minister. Because you are telling us that you will complete the project in the second quarter of 2026. But meanwhile, this project, I think the money was resourced for. So it was just a question of terminating the contract and then start putting up. Because I'm envisaging, as we are in this climate change problem, in case we don't expect rains the coming years. And right now, Serenje is raining heavily. So what are the urgent measures that you can help us so that we have that nice water which people are waiting for in Serenje? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Water Development and Sanitation.
Thank you very much for that very important question from the Honorable Member of Parliament. Yes, indeed, I'm aware that the people of Serenje really need this water from Mbaswa Dam. Me and you have had discussions on this matter for a very, very long time. However, Madam Speaker, following the termination of this contract, government tried to recover those funds. We went to court. We are out of court. We are discussing to see how we can have an amicable settlement. And therefore, it's a reason why we estimated that we are going to start, actually it's a start period in the second quarter of 2026, not the end period. So we are hoping that next year we'll be able to start this project. And indeed, as you stated already yourself, money was sourced. We have a budget line for the coming budget for Mbaswa Dam. But the construction will only start following the completion of the various issues surrounding this project. Just to assure the people of Serenje that government will do everything possible to ensure that we construct this dam in time. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Chipili.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, do you have any time frame when the new contractor will be given a contract to be on site? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Water Development and Sanitation.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Indeed, I stated clearly that we are hoping that this dam, will start constructing this dam in the second quarter of 2026. And our estimate is that it will take 1 year to complete the construction works, so meaning that you expect it to be completed in the second quarter of 2027. Madam Speaker, thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Serenje.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, since it's like there will be this delay of a year plus, have you got some plans right now where you can start probably targeting that since we have already been delayed, we also do a system plan so that immediately we finish the dam, we also connect the people? Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Water Development and Sanitation.
Yes, indeed, we have a comprehensive plan. We believe that Mbaswa Dam will save the people of Serenje well. Meanwhile, me and you, I think we've discussed several times on protecting that aquifer where we're getting underground water. And me and you actually know that the Minister of Water Development and Sanitation has funded Lukanga Water to ensure that we expand that system. Currently, we are going to also expand the distribution system. At the same time, Madam Speaker, just to state to the Member of Parliament that that aquifer is very, very important to Serenje, and we are protecting it to ensure that there are no encroachment on that aquifer, as it is the most reliable source of water right now. So yes, the short answer is yes, we are ready to roll out the plans as soon as we do the dam. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable, looks no more questions, so we make progress. Next question, the Honorable Member for Serenje will ask on behalf of the Honorable Member from Pika by prior arrangement.
Question number 119.
The Honorable Acting Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Honorable Member for Pika is asking the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development the following questions. A, whether the government has any plans to upgrade the following roads in Mpika parliamentary constituency to bituminous standard. 1, Musakanya Kombe Drive. 2, Chisanga. 3, Chitulika. 4, Kamwanya. 5, Kalolo. 6, Kalolo to Trench Town. 7, Mpika Boys Secondary School to St. Andrew's Catholic Church. 8, Musakanya Primary School to Lake Oil Filling Station. And 9, Mpika Market to Mpika Boys Secondary School. Question B, if so, when the plans will be implemented? And the question C, if there are no such plans, why? We answer as follows, Madam Speaker. In response to the question raised by Honorable Kampianga, I wish to inform the august House that A, government has plans to upgrade the following roads in Mpika parliamentary constituency to bituminous standard. 1, Musakanya Kombe Drive. 2, Chisanga. 3, Chitulika. 4, Kamwanya. 5, Kalolo. 6, Kalolo to Trench Town. 7, Mpika Boys Secondary School to St. Andrew's Catholic Church. 8, Musakanya Primary School to Lake Oil Filling Station. And 9, Mpika Market to Mpika Boys Secondary School. Answer to B is plans will be implemented as soon as government sources funds for the upgrading. And the answer to C, plans are there to upgrade the roads, so therefore this question falls away. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Chinsal.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, the answer that you have given is very, very subjective. You know, this habit of you ministers always telling us members of parliament saying you are going to do the work when the money is available. It is not acceptable. You need to be giving us proper timelines so that we are able to explain to the people who we are answerable to. So the people of Mpika would love to know when you are intending to do these roads. When is the money going to be available? The Minister of Finance is seated right next to you there. Ask him so that you provide the answer that will be given to the people of Mpika. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Today is hot, eh? The Honorable Acting Minister of Local Government.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. That is why a certain party went out of government.
Yeah.
If that's how they were allocating money, that because the Minister of Finance is close to me, he can tell me, here's the money, go and do it. Honorable for Chinsari, that's not how government works. The issue really is with township roads and indeed any other roads in this country. It is government's plans to make them as motorable as possible, and where possible, we make them bituminous roads, especially in townships. That is why you have seen what we do, where we have big projects going through particular towns or urban centers. We do allocate some township roads in those areas. So with respect to the roads that are here, these are in the townships of Mpika. But when we say when resources are available, that's a genuine reply or answer. Because you cannot undertake any project without availability of resources. If you're asking me to say we must start exactly when, then we can go into defining what problems we have, what we are doing to improve the economy, and when we think the economy will be in such a state that it can undertake some of this way. But I don't think that is necessary. Suffice to say, government does have plans to upgrade these roads like any other roads, and to be done when the economy can stand and therefore money made available. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Serenge.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Minister. Looking at the coffers of the country, Honorable Minister, could there be a way out so that looking at the 9 roads, probably you bunch them in 2, 3, 3, 3 roads, so that you can start doing at least the first 3, so that those people in Mpika can have a smile. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Acting Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think the Honorable Member for Serenge, what is applicable to Mpika? Madam Speaker, I think it's also applicable to Serenge and indeed many other towns. What is important at the moment is whilst we are waiting for because the question was specific to upgrading to bituminous standard. In the interim, there are options that can be used to ensure that these roads are motorable, such as what has been done through CDF, the procurement of the yellow machines can grade some of these roads. So the answer to your question, Honorable Member for Serenge, is that is what will be used to ensure that our citizens in those serviced by these roads can at least motor properly, whilst waiting for what this question is asking about, which is upgrading to bituminous standard. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Shiwangandu.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for allowing me to make a follow-up question. But before I do, just permit me to press on record condolences from Shiwangandu constituency to the Minister of Local Government, Kasama Municipal Council, indeed the people of Kasama and Kasama Diocese, over the loss of our worship, the Mayor of Kasama, Madam Teresa Mlenga Kolala. May her soul rest in peace. Honorable Minister, this question from the Honorable MP from Mpika is not coming for the first time. This question has been here before, and I think the same assurances were given. And I think that's the reason why the MP for Chinsali was coming out in the manner he did. Honorable Minister, we are now considering the budget for the next fiscal year. We haven't seen any provision towards the roads in question. and it's the same in the provisional proposed budget. Would you be kind enough to just share with the people of Mpika when you think you can cater for them in terms of improving the roads they've spoken to, because that forms the CBD of Mpika. This is the CBD of Mpika. Some of the roads were done before, but then the contracts were terminated for the rest of the road network that were to be done. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Acting Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
Madam Speaker, I thank the Honourable Member for Shwanandu for the calm manner in which he has asked the follow-up question compared to the previous questioner. We are all anxious that wherever possible we improve our roads to the best condition possible, and so far the best condition is the bituminous standard. Not every road that is worked upon is identified in the Yellow Book as such. Not even in the Minister's of Finance speech to this House. What is given to the ministries, including local government or even infrastructure, is the road sector budget. It is within the road sector budget that some of these roads are catered for. I have mentioned, Honourable Member for Shwangandu, that where we have major roads going through, we have endeavored as government to ensure that there is some improvements in the township roads along that road. So you may be interested to know that right now we are working on finalizing the procurement under the World Bank Tracer project. And the Tracer stands for Transport Resilience Economic Corridor. Transport Corridor Economic Resilience, that's Tracer, where money from the World Bank has been allocated for the Serenge to Mpika Road. So when that is finalized, like we have done elsewhere, there is a strong possibility that something similar might be done in the Mpika area, as well as the Serenge, even though the Member of Parliament for Serenge has gone out. That's how this methodical government does things which are sustainable. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honourable Member for Chipili.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honourable Minister, as we are waiting for the money to be available, I want to find out whether you have done any feasibility studies which would guide you so that when money is available, we just look at your feasibility study that you have done. That's what I wanted to find out. Thank you.
The Honourable Acting Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
These are township roads, and I would ask that the Honourable Member for Mpika, for him to have raised this question. It means he has liaised with the local authority within Mpika, which is Mpika Township Council. With the short roads, really the sort of thing you're asking for, a full feasibility study does not really apply. When the resources are available, either under a variation of a major contract or under direct funding, whatever is required to be done shall be done. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honourable Member for Bwana Mkubwa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, my question has been overtaken. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honourable Member for Kafue will be the last one.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just to be very, very clear, I wanted to get the Minister's comment again on the current policy to do with construction of township roads to bituminous standard, so that the people of Mpika, and indeed the people of Kafue, will have an idea when government is likely to start working on our township roads because they are in a deplorable state. I thank you.
Now that is expanding the question. I don't know if the Honorable Minister is ready or the Honorable Acting Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank the Honourable Member for Kafue. The point we are making is that as we improve the country, there is an ultimate to which we want to take the country. And that ultimate, in terms of infrastructure development, sees all our roads, if it's possible to get to all 100%, to the best condition possible. But that has to go alongside the growth and improvement in the economy, and therefore the availability of resources. If we were a $500 billion economy, we could stand here and say all township roads will be bituminous. But we are not there. But as we improve, some of these will be tackled. I think it's the desire of everybody, members of parliament here included, the desire of government, that where possible, we have as many bituminous roads as possible. It has certain advantages. They last longer and they have less maintenance if it's done properly, and they can help in the improvement of the economy. But the constraining factor always shall be where the economy is. And that is why we ask all of us here to always have as a focal point the desire to do what we can to help in the growth of the economy, as the President is working. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The clerk will now read the order of the day.
Estimates of revenue and expenditure, including capital and constitutional and statutory expenditure, Committee of Supply, resumption of committee work.
The House will now resolve into committee.
When business was adjourned on Friday, 5th December 2025, the Committee of Supply on the estimates of revenue and expenditure for the year 1st January 2026 to 31st December 2026 presented to the National Assembly in September 2025 had just finished considering Head 45, Ministry of Community Development and Social Services. We now move to Head 03, National Assembly. Head 03, National Assembly, the acting leader of government business.
Mr. Chairperson, I beg to move that 1,581,275,093 kwacha be approved in respect of Head 03, National Assembly, to meet the expenditure for the year ending 31st December, the year 2026. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. The question is that the head total 1,581,275,093 kwacha be approved in respect of Head 03 National Assembly in line with the programs as outlined in the Yellow Book. Any debate? The Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning. The Acting Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, an additional 74.2 million kwacha has been proposed for the 2026 budget for the National Assembly for enhanced parliamentary activities in 2026, such as general operations of the National Assembly and its constituency offices. The fund will be used for recruitments, recurrent expenditures, as well as capital expenditure for various items. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. The Acting Minister of Finance.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairperson. The adjustment, Mr. Chairperson, is most welcome, as it will be able to take care of those additional expenses. I thank you.
The question is that head total 1,581,275,93 kwacha in respect of head 03 National Assembly, in line with the programs as outlined in the Yellow Book, be amended with words as circulated. Any debate, any objection? The amendment is agreed to. Mr. Kampyongo.
With your indulgence, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairperson, I would like to make my submissions in camera. Because of the head, the nature of the head, Mr. Chairperson.
Thank you. The clerks at the table, let's ensure that the business is in camera, because it's business that we are talking about ourselves.
My eParliament mobile application. My eParliament is a mobile application developed by the National Assembly of Zambia in order to bring Parliament closer to you. You can download and install My eParliament from App Store or Play Store. Once installed, you can raise your concerns, provide your input, opinion and feedback on various projects or decisions being made in your constituency. On My eParliament mobile application, you can listen to Parliament Radio. You will have access to parliamentary documents such as bills and acts which are considered in Parliament. You will also have access to National Assembly social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. You can also watch parliamentary debates live on our YouTube channel. Download My eParliament now. My eParliament, bringing Parliament closer to you.